Hello everybody, I'm Razorblade Mango, and no, your eyes are not deceiving you. This is actual gameplay on my channel for once. Stunning, right? I know! Moving on up in the world. Because I wanted to do something special for Fallout 4. Because Fallout 4 is one of those event games that comes around every so often. It's like Christmas. It's like my own personal Christmas. It doesn't come around very often, but when it does, it is glorious and wonderful. In fact, I actually do like events like this more than Christmas itself. So that says a lot about Fallout 4. And if this is the kind of event game that, like I said, doesn't come around very often. And we don't really get many of these anymore because, you know, with internet culture being what it is, and there's just so much stuff out there, you don't really get, you know, blockbuster event games like this. I mean, yes, companies will tell you that stuff like Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty are blockbuster stuff, and I guess budget-wise they are, but to me they don't feel like blockbuster games anymore. They feel like, you know, just annualized stuff. They just feel like products that people put out to make money, and that could not be more wrong of the case with Fallout 4, because Fallout 4 is great. I mean, this is a great game. I don't like it as much as Skyrim, because Skyrim is in my top 10 of all time, but I definitely do think it's better than Oblivion. I think it's better than Fallout 3, and even though Bethesda didn't make it, it is definitely better than Fallout New Vegas. So, there's just a lot of things to love about this game. First of all, Bethesda are masters of open world design. They are one of the very few developers that know the art of creating an open world, and they're part of the reason why open world games are my favorite genre ever. I mean, going all the way back to when I was a kid, I've always gravitated more towards open world games, and Bethesda is just, they knock it out of the park every time, and again, they carry on that tradition with Fallout 4. And I'm sorry, I should note that there aren't going to be any spoilers in this video. Don't worry, I'm not going to show you guys any parts of the story or anything like that. So fear not. What was I saying? Alright, about how Bethesda are masters of the open world. They understand the language of the open world. They know what it means to make a world feel alive, to make a world feel epic. Because when the news of how big this world came out, people were like, "Oh, well, it's so tiny, it's so small, there's not a lot to do in it. It's just, you can walk from the map from one end to the other in like 10 minutes. And, one, I don't know if that's the case, because I haven't tried it yet. And two, it doesn't matter geometrically how big, or geographically how big the world is. What matters is what's in it. Like, what is in it to engage me? And I've learned a lot about my feelings on open world games this year. Both games that I love and games that I can't stand. So, and Fallout 4 is one of the ones that I just enjoy the hell out of, because it gets so much right. And it feels so alive and epic and massive. And it doesn't matter if geographically the world is tiny. It's paced out so well, it's laid out so well that it feels epic. It feels huge. It feels like this gigantic playground that they just built and said, "Hey, explore to your heart's content," and you're allowed to. And the game is just so rich with things to explore, secrets to uncover, items to find. It has such a color, a distinct color and a distinct personality to it. That's what I was saying with my Arkham Knight criticisms, where I criticized Gotham City. I mean, while it was gorgeous to look at on a graphics level, it looked very pretty, I just wasn't feeling it like I did with Batman Arkham City or Batman Arkham Asylum, where I feel like those environments had personality, and I sound like a broken record here, but they felt like a character in and of themselves. They didn't feel like just this generic open world city with all these collectibles and places and things to do. It actually, and that's a sin with open world games. A lot of developers don't understand this. Open world games, the city, like the environment, I don't care how big your game is, I don't care how many square feet are in it. I want to know what is in it that's going to make it feel alive. I want to know if there's something in it. Will it make me want to explore it? I don't care if you could have the biggest open world in the game ever, in a video game of all time, and if you don't fill it with interesting things to do, or interesting places or people to discover, it's gonna suck, and it's gonna be boring, and I will not want to return to this world. And that's what Bethesda understands. It doesn't matter how big the world is, it matters what's in it. And what's in it in Fallout 4 is a lot of really neat, interesting things. Like what you're watching right now. That power armor, I was just walking around in the environment, and I just stumbled upon a better version of the power armor that I'd had. It's little things like that. I mean, and you'll get it from people like back when Destiny first came out. The problem, like the bullshit they were spewing about how Destiny is not about a story campaign. It's about creating the moments that, the stories that you want to create. Well, here's the thing with that. Unless you have a really amazing structure behind it, which is what I'm hoping No Man's Sky will be like, that whole argument doesn't work, because there's nothing meaningful to latch onto that will make you want to tell your own stories. With Fallout 4, you get a campaign, you get lots of side quests, you get tons of activities that are there just because. I mean, and they're not half-assed. Like a lot of the weapon crafting, the power armor crafting, the hideout building stuff, all of that has a lot of detail to it, has a lot of stuff to do, and yet it's there. It's just completely optional. You don't have to do it, and they never tell you, hey, you have to do this if you want to progress. No, it's be who you want to be, and that's always been the motto of Bethesda, and it's the motto that they've been stressing since the day they announced this thing at E3. Well, not announced it, but talked about it a lot at E3. It's be what you want to be. If you want to roleplay as some stealth ninja guy, you can do that. If you want to be some gun-wielding mercenary like me, you can do that. If you want to be some loner badass, there's just a sarcastic prick, you can do that. You can be the nicest guy in this game. You can be the most ruthless asshole, and it will let you. It has that freedom, and there are very few games out there that let you create what you want to create. And thank God that they do this so well in Fallout 4. It just feels everything feels so organic. And I think another sin of open world games is that a lot of the worlds out there, a lot of open worlds out there, developers make the mistake of making worlds that feel like they were designed around the player, like in a bad way, where all it feels like is just, take for example Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs, the environment in that game, it doesn't feel special. There aren't any big landmarks. There isn't anything that makes you feel like you are a part of this world. It just feels like just a big empty playground that was designed to pamper to you. And that's what I hate about open world games. I hate it when they... And another thing this game owes its success to is its art direction, which is beautiful. There's a lot of color in this game compared to past Fallout games. I mean, Fallout 3 had it was still beautiful, but it was a very sickly green color to everything. Fallout New Vegas was just this ugly brown, hue to everything. That didn't look very appealing. And it still was a nice looking game, but I did not care for the color in Fallout New Vegas especially. Here, I mean, there's bright blue skies, there's distinct red in everywhere, there's color, and it just pops out, and it makes environments more memorable. And that also ties into another, like, the argument of people going, oh, the graphics are so shitty, the graphics are terrible. You don't need photorealistic graphics to sell a world, okay? You don't need them. What you need is a great art director, and that's who they got for Fallout 4. I don't know the name of the art director, but whoever he or she is, they knocked it out of the park with this. I mean, it is, like, definitely their most colorful game out there. And also, I like that this game isn't like a big innovative thing. I like that they took what was fun about Fallout 3 and simply refined it. They made it a lot more, not accessible, but fun and a lot more smooth. Where, I mean, everything's been tweaked a little bit, like the shooting, the bats is still awesome to use. The perk system is better now. The way you level up is better now. I mean, a lot of things, everything in the game has just been refined. All the gameplay has just been refined for a much tighter, smoother experience. And unfortunately, we also have to talk about bugs, like glitches and shit like that. Not fucking rad roaches, but the bugs in this game are still... God, I hate those super mutant suiciders. But, yeah, the bugs in this game, there still are bugs. Unfortunately, they still have to work on their engine. Either they need to switch engines, or they really need to up the ante on their engines. Because this game, while it's stunning to look at, you definitely can see the cracks in the engine now. You definitely can see where it has aged not all that great. Characters still have weird pathfinding AI. There's still a lot of, very stiff, creepy character animations. They're a lot better than they were in Fallout 3 and Skyrim and stuff like that, but it still is a problem, and it still does not look all that great compared to other games out there that have those next-gen graphics. Now, as I said, graphics do not make a game, but it's still a flaw in Fallout 4. But also the music is great. I mean, the orchestral score is fantastic. The licensed songs that they played are brilliant. There's some, I think it's Linda Carter that voices the night singer at one of the clubs in the game, but she actually wrote, I think, like 3 or 4 original songs for the game, and they're great. I mean, there was a point where I just sat down and listened to her sing, and it was awesome. And I love that you can just do that. You can just walk into a place and just casually sit down and enjoy the environment around you. That's another reason why Bethesda are like the masters of open world games. Another thing I love about this game, and I'm getting short on time, so I'll wrap it up real quick, is that I love how the story actually feels actually is good this time around. It's actually a really good main campaign, and it's not like the other past Bethesda campaigns are bad. It's just their writing, as far as main campaigns go, has not been their strong suits. They are not the greatest storytellers on the planet. I mean, they're geniuses when it comes to building an open world, but as far as actual storytelling, like the writing, it has not been one of their strong suits. But thankfully, I think they've significantly improved their writing for this game. Now that there's a voice protagonist, I actually do feel a genuine emotional connection to these characters, to my character particularly, to all the characters around me, and it's great. It's another reason to love this game. So, anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you like what you see, subscribe. Let me know how you feel about Fallout 4, and as always, have a good one!